I am an eternal optimist. So please, God, don't tell me that you're an eternal pessimist.
I like to say I'm a realist.
Oh, it's great. We're going to get along great. This is going to be great.
This is Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
Crowd is here, about to blow, waiting for me to start the show. Out the curtain, lights go up from home. Whoa!
Mitchell, fly ball left field, slicing, it is down. Into the corner it goes. One run is in. 2 runs are in. Rengifo stops at third. Garrett Mitchell delivers big time. Here he comes, and a swing and a miss. McGill strikes out Otto Lopez to end the game. He notches the save. The Brewers win a wild one in the opener of this series. And he swings at the first pitch here. It's a base hit. Coming around to score is Ortiz. Bryce Terang is at it again. He drives in a run with 2 outs. It's an RBI single, and he makes it 5-1 Brewers. Long pause, deals, runner goes, bouncing ball. Terang gobbles it up, throw to first in time, and the Brewers in the win column again. And a 5-2 victory here this afternoon in Miami. Sanchez with the bases loaded, and a bouncing ball through for a base hit. This is going to bring in 2. Terang goes to third, and El Gary comes through. And Perkins on the ground, right to second base. Edwards makes the play, and the Marlins win. Marlins salvage the final game of the series.
What's up, Wisconsin? Happy Monday. Inside Wisconsin Sports. Trevor Thomas, Josh Albrecht.
Hi.
We're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Good to hear BA's voice back on Brewers TV all weekend. And I know he was there a little bit last week, too.
Mm-hmm.
Lots changed for him when that whole Turner NBA thing didn't, he thought about going and staying in Amazon, and he talked about that. Good to have him. We'll take him every time we got him. It's also really fun to listen to Jeff and Lane together. Those two don't get to work that much together.
True.
Real fun. Fun Brewers weekend.
I was going to say, that's
Saturday,
what makes
Sunday.
it the most fun, when they're calling a Brewers win.
Not so much yesterday, but lots to cover from Friday and Saturday's game. And we'll talk about yesterday's game, but more coming later in the show about how do we feel now. We lost 6 straight, then won 4 straight. We keep winning series. Above 500 by a number of games. How do we feel now? We'll talk about that later in the show. Coming up in the Malott Meets Morning Mind Dump and the Packers and the NFL Draft. So why don't we start there in Let's Play Catch Up.
Packers.
This time last year, Josh, what were you doing preparing yourself for the draft here in Green Bay?
I was trying to figure out how the heck I was going to be there because I wasn't going to miss it. That's what I knew.
You didn't miss it, right?
No.
Were you here that Thursday night?
No, I was not.
Bud.
I know. Couldn't be there for that. Was there for the second night, just to make sure that I saw it. It was actually our bowling state weekend. So it was like we stopped there and then kept going up to Wausau.
Okay. That Thursday night, and I know that the Packers don't have a first-round pick this year, and we'll talk later in the show about what hole they need to fill the most with their draft picks on Friday. There's 2 of them, the second and the third rounds. We talked about this before, Josh, on the top 5 sports moments in our life and all the things that we remember most from being a Wisconsin sports fan. I'm not rubbing it in, bud, but that Thursday night, was stupid.
Yeah, it was electric. The amount of people, and it was a beautiful day. Like, that was the other thing. 24 hours later, when I was up there, the weather sucked.
Yeah, it was a bad day.
It was awful. It was like super cold, wind, rain, straight in your face. And that was once the draft started. It didn't start raining right away. So I got like some photos of being like, hey, look, Mom, I'm at the draft. But then after that, it was like just, and I was like, oh, bet this was a lot better yesterday.
When Lambeau Field had this green lighting on it, and they turned the stadium green that you could see within the compound of the NFL draft, and then the electricity and Matthew Golden and the whole thing, And then afterwards, which I thought was interesting, and I can't wait to watch this from Pittsburgh on Thursday, Friday, Saturday this weekend. People left in droves the exact opposite way that Green Bay had planned for them to leave. And I was watching crowds of people. Maybe you were one of them on the Nicolay Law Talk and text line, 414-677-1250. I was doing a radio hit, ironically, and they were walking out the wrong way. And I'm like, oh, man, if this is a sign for what the weekend's going to be here in Green Bay in regard to the NFL draft, this is not good for a lot of businesses. It was pretty interesting. As to will this year's draft be, we talked to Andy Herman last week. There's a very, very little to zero chance that the Packers are going to be moving up. So does that mean we watch on Thursday? Or do we even involve ourselves with the draft? I mean, you and I kind of have to, but.
It's a great question, though. If your team's not participating, how much do you really care? I mean, most people only focus on the first round when you're looking at other teams. When you're worrying about what other teams do, it's not your team. Can you tell me at any point who any other team drafted in the second or third round?
Most years I can barely tell you who the Packers drafted.
So it's all just about whatever they would do in the first round. So, yeah, you might hate watch a little bit of the first round if you're a Packers fan, but that's about it. Not a whole lot of excitement.
They've turned the draft, though, into a spectacle. And so maybe we watch just to see what happens. Like, is Aaron Rodgers going to come out and announce that he's coming back and just blow the roof off the place? What are they going to have for a setup? What's Roger Goodell going to do that's stupid on Thursday? Because he's definitely doing something that's stupid.
That's true.
We'll talk later in the show. What is the biggest hole that the Green Bay Packers need to fill in the NFL draft? Plus, mark your calendar now, Thursday morning, Wayne Larrivee scheduled to appear here on Inside Wisconsin Sports. There you go. You're caught up, Packers. Now let's move back to the crew.
Brewers.
So we heard it there at the top, and I want to play it again. This is the final call yesterday from Brewers TV against the Marlins.
And Perkins on the ground, right to second base. Edwards makes the play, and the Marlins win. Marlins salvage the final game of the series. Jacob Mizorowski will suffer his second loss. A 3-run first inning kind of did the Brewers in 10.
Yeah, that was kind of the difference maker. It haunted them the entire game. Mizorowski striking out 9 through 5. A lot of bright points. They wish they would have come up with this one, but they fall to the Marlins in the third game by 2.
How are we feeling about Miz pitching? That's why I wanted to listen to that again, because it just don't. I mean, his second loss in the season, fine. The Brewers are good and fine, and they're winning again. So we'll talk and cover a lot of that in the I Have Questions portion, along with the morning mind dump. But the Miz, in his woes in the first, continue. So if that's his second loss and he had 9 strikeouts, it's very like, what have you done for, you got 9 strikeouts. Cool. And Murph talked about this after the game, and he threw well, and we kind of needed to make a play for him to pick him up. But on the flip side, are we worried about that?
Out of all of the things to worry about with the Brewers right now, the Miz is not one of them in my mind. There are so many bigger fish to fry in regards to the struggles that the Milwaukee Brewers are going through right now.
Give me 2 others. What are the 2 most concerning things?
The bats and the bullpen. Bats and bullpen. There you go. I mean, plain and simple. Listen, if your starting pitcher can go 5 innings and give up 3 runs, you should still be able to give yourself a decent shot to win that game. And if they would have held it to 3 in the 8th, the Brewers would have tied that game. But they didn't. They gave up 2 more, and then that ended up being the downfall. So, that's my point, is that it's just not saying that there's one part on this team that's been perfect, but the starting pitching has been okay. It's been good, maybe not great. So I'm gonna put my focus on those other things instead of it, and think that whatever little tweaks or things I'm asking from Miz to be even better, they'll get there quicker than the injury bug and whatever's happening in the bullpen needs to be fixed first.
If you're Miz, though, and you're struggling like you are in the first, and all of a sudden you look up and here comes Pat Murphy. Not Chris Hook. It's Murph. And he brought the entire infield in and had a little talk. Yeah. And Dad was mad. He maybe didn't show it, but there had to have been that moment of like, Oh boy. Okay, that's Murph. All right. What do I do? What do I say? How do I do it? Like, he's young, you know what I mean? He's not been in a lot of those situations.
Well, and I think that's my point, is that he's going to need time to get better and feel more comfortable, and he still is so young and feels like a baby out there. So give him those opportunities. And in the meantime, I'm still pretty satisfied with what Miz has been able to do.
Did you satisfy thy craving with Woody on Saturday? 7 innings, 1-run ball. That was awesome to see.
Yeah, that was fantastic. And that's what I'm talking about. And maybe I'm not feeling as bad about Miz because Woody and just the starting pitching in general has been better in comparison to the other areas, which it was not always that way. Like, even to start the season, I think we were more like, all right, well, our starting pitching might only give us 4 innings, but then we have the best bullpen in baseball. So then they'll get us the rest of the way. And now it's the opposite feeling. Now it's oh God, can we please have our starter try to get 7? I don't know if I trust anyone to come out after the starter to go scoreless the rest of the game.
There's been some interesting lineup changes over the last few games that we have questions about. What are your thoughts on that? Plus, are you still nervous? Lots of Brewers conversation to come. 414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law talk and text line. Let us know your thoughts on coming off a weekend with another series win at Miami. Off today, then at the Tigers tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, and then back home for a couple series against the Pirates and the Diamondbacks. So if they left Miami yesterday, they probably fly home last night, spend last night at home, this morning at home, and then they fly off to Detroit, most likely. Is that what you think?
Yeah, that's what I would think. It's not a long plane ride, right? So that's kind of nice and not going to a coast. I think they probably get some time at home.
Good. All right, on to the Badgers.
Badgers.
Mixed messages coming from Madison, speaking of home. A few things about the transfer portal over the weekend and some reports of landing some pretty good names and some front court stuff for the Badgers. But on the flip side, they really have a lot to figure out. There was one report that said Greg Gard wasn't exactly pleased with how NIL was going in terms of the ability for him to land big stars. Apparently, they missed out on a few people that they really wanted to get in a Badger uniform. And on the flip side, outgoing Chancellor Jennifer Nukin to the UW Athletic Board of the Badgers AD search news category. This is from John Stepp from the Journal Sentinel. She says, what I can share with you today is that a thorough national search will be undertaken and that you can expect more details on this process in the near future. Why even talk?
Yeah. That was a very nice way of saying, I don't know.
Absolutely nothing.
It gave me nothing to go off of there.
Any update? No. But if you're her and you're on your way, so is the interim chancellor hiring the aide? It's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird.
And not good. It doesn't make me feel confident in it. That's why I said, I think if you really want to feel confident in the next AD, they need to figure out the chancellor first. Like, that has to be, you can't put that on the interim. That's a huge decision. That's sticky.
When it went from Pat Richter to Barry Alvarez, that made a huge splash. And then when it went from Alvarez to Chris McIntosh, that also made a huge splash because he's a Badger. He's one of us. He grew up in Pewaukee. And then he blows the thing up and leaves. So what name is out there that you, if you could just have a magic wand, would choose? I have seen 0 names, Josh.
Yeah. I don't expect to see like a name that if someone who does follow this like super well and says, I have 5 names, I'm still not going to know any of them. Right. I don't know. I can't tell you another athletic director at a university. I don't know. I just know that whoever's going to be coming in and doing that, they got their work cut out for them. You're taking over an athletic program that its major sports are not living up to expectations. It's the nil era. You're trying to, that's the main focus, and that's something that is your main job. That's tough. It's a tough spot to come into.
Do you even want it?
Well, yeah, someone's going to want the opportunity, right? It's a opportunity for advancement, growth. I'm sure there are going to be plenty of people, jumping at the opportunity. Doesn't mean it's going to be an easy one, and it's definitely going to be kind of like we look at with decisions that GMs make. It's going to fall on that person. So whoever that chancellor is, that's why it's like, is that even fair at all to put it on the interim guy? Well, yeah, if the next AD sucks, though, it's going to be on the interim. He won't be here anyway. Like, that's woof. That's rough.
Rough. Let's move on to the Bucks.
Okay.
Bucks.
So there's really no list of head coaching potential here. I mean, I've seen some names. There's even some ties to UW Green Bay. As you see this, Sean Sweeney has been thrown out there as a possible head coach candidate. Played 1 year at UW Green Bay. But they really don't have a specific target from what I can understand, Josh. And there is a list, but depending on what source or reporter you ask, that list is different than this list. And Doc is still on the payroll, which I have questions about. Like, how do you resign? That's a good gig, by the way.
Yeah.
All right, guys, here's a scoop. I'm under contract. I know. And it's a lot of money. I get it. I would like to be done coaching this team. Okay. And I would like to not get fired because I don't know if you saw, Google me, Hall of Famer.
Yeah. And I would like to keep getting money.
So
I
how
don't
do we
want to
work
work
that
anymore, but I would like you to keep paying me. Does that
Bosses,
work?
are you listening? I don't
Right.
want to work anymore.
Right. But keep the checks coming.
That'd be good. Giannis showed up on a Twitter page called Heat Central.
Yeah, that's a very that Twitter page got a lot of followers over the trade deadline era for fake news. But yeah.
Well, Giannis brought it up, and he talked about what it should have sounded like if he would have just shut down the rumors. But to be honest, even Giannis said, dude, this was a lot.
Bro, everywhere I went, people will tell me, don't leave, don't this, don't do that, please stay. This every day. Social media, turn the TV on, first take, ESPN, blah, 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 this, Giannis. This was the first time in my NBA career that it was everywhere. If I could turn the time back, I would maybe say, come out a little bit earlier. It's like, hey, guys, this ends today. Look at me in my eyes. I'm staying with Milwaukee until further notices. Ends today.
So he should have come out and said something is what he was really paraphrasing there.
Yeah. Yeah, which I think a lot of people knew and agree with and wanted. And it's not that he didn't say it, but he was wishy-washy about it. He said it, and then people went, well, it gave the national pundits enough space to twist those words and go, Giannis says he wants to stay in Milwaukee, but, and like all these other things. I looked at this as when an athlete is in season, because that was the whole point. Giannis didn't want to deal with this during the season. He's a competitor. He wanted to play. He wanted to focus on it. Now he's done, right? Season's done. He's not playing basketball anymore. Now he's coming out and saying things like, yeah, I probably should have done that. Like, that would have been a lot better. Yeah, probably would have made it easier. But sometimes that's more difficult to do when you're in the moment, when you're trying to just focus on your job, on basketball, on being the best competitor you can. That's what it seemed like to me. Like when I don't know if you've ever had one of those moments where you're so angry that like you kind of lose yourself. And then once you calm down, it's like, oh, okay, like the fog is gone. I could have just handled this completely. That's how it sounded to me. Like now that he's done with the season, done with all the drama that happened in the locker room and everything else, now he can step back and go, if I would have probably done that, that would have been a lot better. That would have made my life a lot better. And a lot of fans are sitting here going, yeah, sure could have. Would have made it easier for us too. Wish you would have just done that. That's what I took from it.
So he also said that he talked to the people that he loved, the people that were closest to him, obviously those in his camp, but also the GM and the head coach. And so my question here is, if Giannis came out and said to John Horst and to Doc Rivers exactly what he wished he would have sold to the public, if you will, about I'm not going anywhere, I'm here in Milwaukee until further notice, all the things that he said, then why didn't they come out and really like, guys, I talked to Giannis. He's to your point, Josh, it's mid-season. We're in the season. He's a little banged up. We're trying to figure out whatever this season looks like. But at the end of the day, we've sat down with him, we talked with him, and he is a Milwaukee Buck. I think I know why they didn't come out and say that, but I wanted to get your thoughts, Josh.
Yeah, I'm sure there's some BS that they didn't do that because they wanted to for leverage and not giving too much away to the other teams. It is in the sense of you can't constantly say we're talking to Giannis all the time. Our communication with Giannis is fantastic. The coaching staff's talking to him, the front office is talking to him. We're constantly in communication. And then have it to where you're saying one story, Giannis is saying a different story, and then after the season, he's saying, yeah, I probably should have said this. If none of it's lining up, then it makes us question how good a communication did you and Giannis really have? It doesn't look like it was as good as he said it was.
Nonetheless, he's talking, and the fact that it showed up on a Heat connected.
It showed up there because
Twitter
on one point in that I don't know, whatever Zoom interview he was doing at the time, it was Miami centric, and someone did say like they were trying to recruit him essentially to Miami. He said Miami is a beautiful city. It is a very beautiful city. And they went, oh, Giannis to Miami confirmed. There you go. That's it. Okay, calm down. Get that started already.
Well, this very Twitter page, per 5 Reasons Sports, came out and said yesterday that the Knicks are still the number 1 preferred destination for Giannis, according to sources connected to the situation. I listened last week. Know how much you love that sources word.
Per source,
especially when they're anonymous. But here's what the source said. I've gotten this from not firsthand, but secondhand information. That's always perfect. From 3 national NBA media guys who are fairly connected. This is a real report to this stuff. And it says that New York is still number 1 for him and then Miami. Pause. Let me read that again.
Yeah.
I've gotten this from not firsthand, but secondhand information from 3 national NBA media guys who are fairly connected to this stuff. Stop, pause. Stop talking then.
Just admit you don't have a story then.
But that's social media, man.
Right.
Like this is what we get ourselves into.
And that's what I'm saying. This is what all of it is everyone, the clickbait report stories, no one wanting to validate or justify sources can come out and say whatever they want. It's terrible.
America. Anything else?
Anything else?
Yeah, we'll talk about it next, and I have questions, but WrestleMania was this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, the Super Bowl of the WWE. As you expect, when there's a Super Bowl, Josh, I had a party.
Okay.
I did not take off after this Super Bowl.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah.
Because I took off Thursday, Friday.
Beforehand.
That would have been bad. Hey, by the way, I'm out Thursday, Friday, and Monday. Why off Monday? Well, it's the
WrestleMania. Yeah. I'll just say this. I think WrestleMania could absolutely go back to being one night. I don't think you need both nights. Make it one night and add an hour. You do that. Have the whole thing be even longer. I'd be fine with that, but you don't need 2 nights.
Well, they sold 2 nights worth of tickets for a total of just under 106,000 attendees. So,
yeah, I know they did, but also there were tons of reports prior to going, tickets aren't selling. They had people coming out on Raw and SmackDown going, hey, because of Pat McAfee, tickets to WrestleMania are now 25% off.
Yeah, for just the first night. Yeah.
Be the case. It was you saved up for 2 years to be able to go to a WrestleMania, and you had 10 minutes to buy tickets.
That was when it was one night, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Anything else fun from the weekend, Josh?
I had a blast. We had city tournament bowling on Saturday. I did much better this time than I did the last time. Averaged like 231. I had a 279 game in there, so that was pretty good. And then I had a little wine tasting with our friends from Henry Flocks yesterday, and tried out some new food that at their on their menu there is fantastic. It was a good weekend. And then you had wrestling and baseball and everything on top of it. Jam-packed. I honestly feel like I need a rest from the weekend because we were going nonstop.
That's called a Monday.
That's how it feels.
Mm-hmm. And you wonder why sometimes I take off on a Monday? That's why. Not today. Good to be back. Thanks to Tim Allen for filling in for me last week. Had an excuse. It was my birthday on Thursday, so I'm like, you know what? I mean, as an adult, you need reasons sometimes.
I 1,000% agree.
Remember, this is a job.
Yep.
So at the end of the day, if I see an opportunity to spend more time with my family, and I'm going to use my birthday as an excuse. Psst, peace out.
So how was it? What'd you get? The kids make you something? What happens for birthdays at this age?
Yeah, that's fair. What happens for birthdays? Bud, you're 43 now. So we went out to dinner both Friday and Saturday night.
Okay.
Friday night both Thursday night. Well, my birthday Thursday. Yeah, it was a long time ago already. Thursday night, so we went out to dinner. Saturday night, we went out to dinner with some friends. There was gifts. My wife strongly believes that everybody should blow out candles on their birthday, so we did that. We had a great weekend. I did get a present that I'm concerned about, or maybe I should say I have questions about. So we'll do that next.
Oh, interesting.
When we come back, it's a doozy. I don't know how to feel about it.
Okay, here we go.
I have questions. We're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. It's Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh on a Monday. What's up, Wisconsin? Good to see you.
When things just don't add up, Trevor and Josh ask the hard questions or just point out how messed up stuff is.
I only have one question. Can you fly this plane and land it? Surely you can't be serious.
Do you view this season as a failure?
You asked me the same question last year.
What's the most important question the Badgers have to answer Saturday?
This is a great question. Oh my God, this is a great question.
It's time for I Have Questions on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
The Nicolay Law talk and text line, 414-677-1250. On a Monday morning on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. If you have questions, we have answers. One question that I have, and Trevor's troll, if he's listening, is going to love this. Can I possibly be, like, do human beings have the ability to be bad luck for other people?
Ooh, good question. Yes.
I know that I've been told I'm a jinx. I can't say certain things out loud without them happening. And I typically think that that's all BS. But over the years, if I get a jersey of a particular player,
oh boy,
it does not end well.
Oh
typically.
No.
Jordy Nelson got his jersey, poofy smoke, gone, injured, and then out. Aaron Campman had his jersey back in the day, and then he left the Packers. Reese Hoskins got his jersey last year. He gone. Jaden Reed bought the white jersey for the whiteout night.
Okay.
Bad. For my birthday, I got a CM Punk t-shirt.
Oh, okay.
And there was a piece of me that went, oh boy, he's going to lose.
Because of that, because of the shirt.
Dude, this is not trending well. Like, I would like to not have anything else with anybody's name on it forever. If I liked them, give me somebody that I don't like.
Yeah, it sounds to me like someone needs to start giving you some Cubs and Bears and Vikings.
Gross, not wearing it.
Stuff.
But I agree. See what I'm saying? Like, that's the truth. That it was weird. And then last night we're watching WrestleMania, and I'm so into the WWE now. Like, it's gross. We have the figurines. I don't know if you saw the video.
I saw that. I was like,
super.
I mean, good thing your kids are of age. You know, you can be like, no, those are definitely the kids. Those are
one of them. Oh, so that's the best part. One of them is Rikers.
Yeah.
And then they bought me a CM Punk one. And so he and I have been, he's 14, right? He immediately, after CM Punk lost last night, took him off the banister, took the belt off, gave it to Roman Reigns, and threw CM Punk on the floor.
Yep. You're in the trash, bud.
Appreciate you, bud.
Anyway, hey, birthday.
What are your questions about WrestleMania, Josh? What do you think?
I mean, my big one was, so the Royal Rumble and the WrestleMania are the two pay-per-views that even when I'm not watching wrestling, I'll still get together and we'll watch them.
Yeah.
And they've always done a really good job of catching you up on the storyline, right? Even if you had no idea, because the storylines were good. And it felt like going into this WrestleMania, the two nights, there was a lot of scrambling. I understand that leading up, there were injuries that made them have to shift some things, possibly, right? But the whole thing just seemed like it was meh and too long. And then there were people that complained a bunch about the commercials, and that this just became a commercial fest this year in comparison to past years. I think for the first year of this being WrestleMania ESPN version,
there's the difference.
It flopped. It was not. This is not going to be a WrestleMania that was memorable, that people are going to want to go back and watch matches from, or go, well, yeah, I mean, you remember at WrestleMania 42 and blah, blah. Like, it's just, there's nothing there. And you think about, wasn't it just last year or was that 2 years ago when Cody finished the story and The Rock was out there? And
2 years ago. It was 40.
That was 40. Yeah. So, like, I understand that's 40, but, like, that was a moment, right? You created a WrestleMania moment. That's what we're used to. There was none of that. There's none of that.
Is it bad for a brand when you watch two nights and really don't bring anybody back from the past, right? And it was good. They were good night. Last night was definitely better than Saturday night.
Correct.
But they were still good. And I know that you haven't necessarily stayed up to speed on all the stories on Mondays and Fridays and Mondays and Fridays and Mondays.
Mm-hmm.
But on the flip side, it was good storytelling. Braun Breaker showed back up.
Sure.
They had to take one of the Bella twins and put her on the sideline, and Paige showed back up.
Right.
But last night during the main event, nobody showed up. And so I'm wondering, is that bad for a brand when you have the top two guys in the entire thing? They're beating the living hell out of each other, and you're like, all right, when is somebody else going to show up?
Well, yes, but also that was the thing that always made WrestleMania so great, was that if you watched it at all and you watched WrestleMania, then you kind of felt like it re-energized, right? It gave you something where you went, oh, well, now I need to watch Raw tomorrow. Like the Raw after WrestleMania, always known as like the craziest Raw of the year, right? Because it kind of starts the new wrestling calendar, and it keeps it going, and new storylines made because they ended WrestleMania with a bang, some type of no way did that happen. Are you kidding me? I can't wait to find out what they do. There was none. And literally we were watching it after Roman won, and I'm just waiting. Like, who's coming out? Who's coming out to challenge him? Who are they bringing out? What are they doing? What's happening? Something's got to be happening. And then you saw the credits, and I went, or not, or they're going to do nothing.
Yeah.
Wow. What a loss the WWE just took.
And as if that was the biggest surprise in the night, it wasn't. Brock Lesnar leaving his boots and his handguards in the middle of the ring. Live, by the way, on ESPN. That one was on actual cable, which I was annoyed by because I purchased ESPN Premium for one reason only, this. But by all means, give it to me for free then.
Not the whole thing, just, the main thing. Great.
But it was a pretty big moment in terms of the thing.
I agree.
Do you think he's done?
No, I've seen some rumors of, because SummerSlam is going to be in Minnesota, which is where he's from, and he has had some iconic matches at SummerSlam, that will be his final match, and that they're going to build that up. But that was probably I think that send off was more a final WrestleMania, and then he probably won't wrestle again until SummerSlam, and then that'll be his last time period.
I thought when you leave your boots in the ring, that was it.
Yeah, well, we thought so too. And then the Undertaker came back 12 times since. So.
But is he actually going to wrestle? I mean, did the Undertaker actually do matches? He did. Okay. Well,
yeah, he did.
Nothing to read into, I guess.
Yeah.
Is there anything to read into with the lineup changes for the Brewers? It's an I have question that we're going to talk about in the Malott Meets Morning Mind Dumps about that, and just how do we feel now about the Brewers? Lost 6 straight, won 4 straight. Good series victory. Where are we at? 414-677-1250. The Nicolay Law talk and text line. We know where Bryce Terang's at. It's Impressiveville. That's where he's at.
Mm-hmm.
The most electrifying sound of the day comes off of his bat from Saturday when we get back. The Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. It's Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
It's time for
The most electrifying.
Sound of the Day
The most electrifying.
on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Brought to you by Best Electric. Learn more at bestelect.com. Don't stress. Connect with the best.
Travis's hitting streak. Now Terang, high and deep to right center. This ball is up and out of here. Bryce is nice with a 2-run blast. A 400-foot bomb into right center field. And Terang has given the Brewers a 3-1 lead here in the 5th inning.
Bryce is nice indeed, BA. Bryce Terang's home run from Saturday, courtesy of Brian Anderson and Brewers TV, is the most electrifying sound of the day, brought to you by our friends at Best Electric. Remember, no job is too big or too small for Best Electric. Don't stress. Connect with the best. Call them today or visit bestelect.com. Trev, we've talked about how we're feeling about this team, the vibes, what we're worrying about. If there's one golden ray of sunshine on this team right now, it is Bryce Terang.
Bryce Terang has reached in every game he's played in this season. He has an on-base streak of 19, according to the Brewers Twitter account, who I believe that is a source
Correct.
that we will take directly news from.
Yes. Yeah, good source.
And that he battled through something with his ankle, right? I mean, like, this isn't 100% healthy Bryce Terang either. Can't blame me for that.
No. And even in some of the losses that have occurred, it's been all Bryce Terang. I mean, I don't remember exactly what game, but there was a game that the Brewers lost high scoring where he had a multi-home run game. So the offense essentially has been Bryce Terang, and then I guess a little bit of Garrett Mitchell too, which has been a highlight. But I think that might just be based on expectations of where we thought he might be. So there are a few pieces that are doing okay to good. Bryce Terang definitely leading that charge.
21 games into the season, 12-9, heading to Detroit. Off today, Detroit Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then home for the weekend. Back to that game on Saturday, though. This was one of the games where I was like, hold on, what are we doing with the lineup here? And that's what I want to talk about in the Malott Meets Morning Mind Dump, along with our thoughts on how do we feel about the season as a whole. But it was that Saturday, Sunday mixed lineup thing that I just don't quite understand. And maybe it's because I was off for a few days and didn't notice the Greg Joneses and the who's that new pitcher? Friday night after a concert I went to, we get to the bar and I'm like, who's that guy?
Right. He wasn't in our bag of prospects.
No.
Where did he come from?
31st or something like that on the list of prospects from the minor league system. Remember just a few days ago, Josh, we looked at the top 10 prospects and we were nervous because there wasn't a lot of pitching. Well, then, boom, Crow shows up.
Yep.
And we're like, okay.
And he pitched well.
He did.
Yep.
Really well, which is really great. But if they could let us know more about those guys, that'd be awesome.
The 262 on the Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line 414-677-1250 says they should have locked up Bryce 2 years ago, but they 100% need to pay him whatever he wants. I said it to start the year, even before opening day, when we saw what he was doing in the World Baseball Classic, going, man, I know that we want to lock him up. I don't think we're gonna. I don't know that there's gonna be a price that they offer him that makes Bryce go, yep, I'll take that. I think he's destined to be the next big Brewer name to go get a boatload of money from some team with a boatload of money.
Yeah. We got to stop being annoyed by that. I'm not telling you how to fan, but if you have expectations, yeah, but if you have expectations of anything different, then I'd like to ask you what you're watching.
Right. It
doesn't mean it's great. I get it.
It's just other teams don't go through that, right? At least a lot of them don't. They go, we have enough money we'll overpay to make sure that we keep this guy here, keep Terang jerseys moving in the pro shop. We can do that. Brewers can't.
Well, and we know better than to talk about what potentially is coming next season, because I caught a long Tim Allen rant from this show last week, and that's untouchable. Not bringing that up ever again in earshot of him.
Yeah,
Whew.
I love that. I said, Tim Allen, go ahead and rant, bud. What do you got? And he ranted.
Sure did. I love that you just sat there and went, "Holy crap, this is awesome!"
Oh,
Like,
yeah. I mean, for a minute there, I turned my mic off. I was like,
take it in.
Hold up, let him cook."
The Packers, no first rounder this coming week, but they do have a pick in the second and the third on Friday. And so Charlie and Sparky will be back in the chair and breaking down the picks on Friday, 6 p.m. It's the Green Bay football postgame show, NFL draft edition, coming up here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network on Friday night. Last year, when the draft was happening, I actually got to sit with Wayne Larrivee and talk about the draft. Just so we're on the same page, Wayne Larrivee is so stupid prepared for the NFL draft. It's sick.
Yeah.
Pages and pages of yellow notebook notes. Handwritten.
It's incredible. Wayne does his homework. He always does his homework. He's
Thursday,
good
Friday,
student.
Saturday. And so Friday, 6 o'clock here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. That's where we can catch up with Charlie and Sparky and all things football when it comes to the Packers draft. Coming up in the Malott Meets Morning Mind Up, it's all things baseball. How do we feel? The Brewers won the series. They're doing well, won 4 games in a row, off to Detroit. Are we settled down? Because it was a bit punchy during that 6-game loss streak earlier in the season. But they're 3 games above 500, second in the Central, I believe, if I looked last night and memory serves me well. And yet all of the teams in the Central, I believe I saw on Twitter over the weekend, are above 500. Only one in all of baseball that has that stat. How do we feel? 414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law talk and text line. We're back in a bit on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. I am an eternal optimist. So please, God, don't tell me that you're an eternal pessimist.
I like to say I'm a realist.
Oh, it's great. We're going to get along great. This is going to be great.
This is Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
Crowd is here, about to blow, waiting for me to start the show. Out the curtain, lights go up, I'm home. Whoa!
Mitchell, fly ball left field, slicing, it is down. Into the corner it goes. 1 run is in. 2 runs are in. Rengifo stops at third. Garrett Mitchell delivers big time. Here he comes, and a swing and a miss. McGill strikes out Otto Lopez to end the game. He notches the save. The Brewers win a wild one in the opener of this series. And he swings at the first pitch here. It's a base hit. Coming around to score is Ortiz. Bryce Terang is at it again. He drives in a run with 2 outs. It's an RBI single. And he makes it 5-1 Brewers. Long pause, deals, runner goes, bouncing ball. Terang gobbles it up, throw to first in time. And the Brewers in the win column again. And a 5-2 victory here this afternoon in Miami. Sanchez with the bases loaded and a bouncing ball through for a base hit. This is going to bring in 2. Terang goes to third and El Gary comes through. And Perkins on the ground, right to second base. Edwards makes the play and the Marlins win. Marlins salvage the final game of the series.
Audio courtesy of Brewers TV. What's up, Wisconsin? Welcome in. Hour 2. Happy Monday. Inside Wisconsin Sports. Trevor Thomas, Josh Albrecht.
Hey.
Live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Another series win for the Brewers down in Miami, coming off a series victory against the Blue Jays and starting what was a 4-game win streak until they dumped one yesterday. And so to kick off a Monday in the Malott Meats Morning Mind Dump, what we're trying to process here is Brewers fans, how are we doing? What do we got to get off our chest and out of our head? And did we overreact a bit? Possibly, maybe. Time for the Malott Meats Morning Mind Dump.
I hear voices in my head, they counsel me, they understand, they talk to me.
The coffee is kicked in. We're awake and ready to roll. Let's get some things off our chest and out of our heads.
You don't know what it's like to be me out here for you. It is an up at dawn, pride-swallowing siege that I will never fully tell you about, okay?
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take this anymore!
I'm in a glass case of emotion!
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
We got no food, we got no jobs, our pets' heads are falling off!
It's time for the Morning Mind Dump, presented by Malott Meats. High-quality meats at a fair price, safely delivered to your front door. To learn more, visit wisconsinmeatmarket.com. Experience the power of the family meal with Malott Meats on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
Experience the power of the family meal with our friends at Malott Meats. Go to wisconsinmeatmarket.com and check out the Mother's Day sale. 10% off tenderloins. High-quality meats at a fair price, delivered right to your door. To learn more, visit wisconsinmeatmarket.com. The Brewers delivered some wins to our front door over the weekend, and part of the processing that's coming into this is going, okay, well, that went well.
Yeah.
Against Miami, and we did well against the Blue Jays, won the series there. So how are we feeling? 414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law talk and text line. I said, Josh, before the Malott Meats Morning Mind Dump piece hit, that do we possibly maybe overreact just a bit? And your face went, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think that there's this in-between phase that we're feeling right now as a fan base, at least how I am. I'm glad they won, right? Winning series is important, but the way they're winning, there's still so many glaring holes in things that need to be fixed that are people that are struggling. You saw opportunities where those games could have been lost. You know, the Marlins had opportunities to tie the game, bring I mean, the fact that Uribe had to come out to close that game because the bases were loaded, it was, would have been nice to give him a day. Nope, now he's got to come in and shut it down with 2 outs. It's those type of things that make me go, I'm glad they won, but we still got work to do. And it's just a different feeling than what we had last year. And I can't help but compare it.
Yeah, it's going to be hard not to compare. It's pretty fresh, although it's the greatest season in Brewers baseball history.
Sure.
Minus a World Series appearance. So the comparisons will be there, but does it not feel a little jumbled at the beginning of this season? There's some names, some guys showing up, some rotation. Rengifo plays first. Didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think that was the plan either.
No, but he did say he can play wherever he needs. You know, he said that in spring training, that he's here to play wherever they need him to play. Apparently that includes first base. But it is jumbled. Jumbled's a good way to describe it. It seems like they're trying to get wins together as they figure this out. But there's a lot to figure out.
Did you notice there was a change in the pep of their step when it came to the Brewers, when they were finally able to break the 6-game losing streak and then win 4 in a row? Do you know what the moment was? Because I think I do.
Ooh, what was it?
It was Trevor McGill getting chippy with the Blue Jays.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, a little attitude shows up in the Brewers dugout and things start trending in the right direction. And I can't help but go, that just proved my point about what didn't happen in Boston. Exactly.
Yep. It could have been.
How simple.
I hate that. If that is true, though, I hate that that's the case. Like, boy, like just needing that extra chirp, that extra chippiness is gonna sway this team one way or another that much to where you're going from losing 6 straight to winning 4 in a row. Yikes. That's volatile. I don't like that. I do think it's more than just that moment. I think there is a lot more that goes along with it. And I think that there are a lot of pieces, as I mentioned, that still need to get better, that need fine-tune if this team's going to even make anything close to a run like they did last season. And the biggest thing is timing, right? It's just the timing of it all that's so frustrating. You know that you have Churio out, Yelich out, you know, you got pitchers, you just have injuries just like you did last season. So you need to find someone else to step up. That was supposed to be the bullpen. And the bullpen to this point is still irritating to watch. Even when they're getting through innings, it's like, okay, but that was a lot more stressful than it should have been. You know, those type of moments still get me. You know, you brought up McGill. McGill getting those 2 strikeouts. He had a standing O after the whole thing with Pat Murphy saying, don't boo that guy. Okay, the fans come back, they give him a standing O. It's not like he's been lights out again. It's not like anyone's sitting here going, no, that's our closer. There's still question marks. And those are things that this team couldn't deal with right now. You need some part of this team to be all right, well, at least we don't have to worry about X. We don't have that. We're worried about it all right now. I don't like that.
Derek in Whitewater says, my question is, what is the idea with third base? I know we have more issues, but I still don't understand the Durbin trade. And I get it. He's not setting the world on fire in Boston. But we're wondering why we were so quick to pull the trigger, because the whole Rengifo Hamilton thing just isn't working. And I think we would be better off with Durbin right now. How do we process that? Because he's not wrong. The idea that Hamilton played third and Rengifo has been at third and Hamilton played, like, all those guys seem to be moving around in the infield quite a bit. And that wasn't the case last year when we had Caleb Durbin solidified at third base for the majority of the time.
I mean, I think that it has, there are multiple parts that go into it, but I think that it's depth. I think that was it. It was we know what Caleb Durbin is, what he can be. We see his ceiling. It's not, we know that we can get at least the same productivity out of third base. Maybe not better, but the same. But we can get more people. We can get more bodies in there. You know, it wasn't just a one-on-one trade there, right? That was a part of a
there was more.
6-player trade. So I think that was a big part of it. And remember, Kyle Harrison. So they got a pitcher out of that too. So I think those are all the pieces that make me still go, yeah, I'm fine with the Durbin trade.
Back to the piece that we talked about with Bryce Terrain before we went to break at the top of the hour. Teacher Tom says we never would have locked up Terrain 2 years ago. He was one of the worst qualified hitters at the time. Josh, we actually looked at that based on his batting average and the amount of hits that he had. Then in comparison to the last 2 seasons, he's a completely different player. But how quickly can that change to go from, man, who's this dude, to, whoop, can't afford him anymore?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, see Bryce Terrain, because that seems to be the book on how quickly that can change. I think that there was a point, though, Teacher Tom, in between the 2 years ago where he was just awful to where he is now, where the Brewers might have had an opportunity. Maybe they even tried. You know, there are plenty of stories that we probably don't hear of negotiations and contracts. I would love to believe that the Brewers have made some type of offer to Madej to do the Jackson Chourio contract, and he said no. I don't have anything to go off, but I'm hoping that those conversations take place. I would be surprised if the Brewers haven't approached Terrain at any point about an extension, but it's just if the sides don't agree on anything, we're not hearing about it.
I wonder how often guys are saying no or not right now, just based on this whole collective bargaining agreement thing at the end of the year. I know it's not rainy day. I'm not projecting any, but it's business.
Yeah. But if you're a player, does that potential lockout make you more willing to sign or less willing to sign?
Well, I think it depends on the player. Look who did sign. A minor leaguer.
Sure.
What was it, 8 years?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you? But if there's other players that are in contract type of talks right now, and you see everything potentially about to change, you go, yeah, maybe, I'm under contract right now. We'll set to see how this plays out. Why would you ink something that's may or may not going to be in your best interest after this next CBA? It's fascinating to think about. The 262 says, does it even matter? We all know how this ends if the Brewers make it to October. Well, have a case of the Mondays, shall we?
There's an outlook. I think there is something to that with baseball, though, of just the excitement of a team. I think it absolutely matters because this Brewers team isn't at full strength. They're not even close to being at full strength. And that's important because you're right. We're all just looking forward to October. What does this look like in October? Hopefully, the Brewers are still playing. But most importantly, what is that Brewers team? And I think that's been the big focus for the Brewers, too. I think that's why they've been cautious about tightness and things of this, because they're answering that question for you, listener on the Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line. They're saying, yeah, we agree. It's about October, and we're going to do whatever we can to make sure that we are the most healthy we can be for October.
Yeah, the 906 comes on and says, compared to last year at this point, I actually feel better about the team, especially when all the guys that will be coming back from injury come back from injury. Josh, to your point, do you think that the Brewers saw what the Dodgers did last year, who did not have a full strength squad until the playoffs because they were careful and got swept by the Brewers in the regular season? And how quickly we saw that didn't matter a lick.
Mm-hmm.
That when October comes around, that's what matters most. And so you have to stay competitive, and you obviously need to punch your ticket to said playoffs. But the idea of 162 games and a win tonight mentality means that there's going to be a lot of moving and shaking when it comes to the lineup. And that was one of the things that I think was hard to process over the weekend, was just these what seemed like constant lineup changes. Some guys were getting off in terms of their play, like Contreras. Some guys were coming in to pinch hit. Sal Frelick was supposed to have his birthday off, didn't, because he ended up pinch hitting yesterday.
Yeah.
Was anybody else frustrated, by the way, when Contreras came in with potential runs to be had against a pitcher that was struggling and swings at the first pitch and flies out? I'm like,
yeah. I mean, absolutely, that's frustrating. It's those type of things, though, right? Like, this is the beginning of the season. We're already looking forward to October, right? The 262 saying I'm thinking about October. It's April. Like, there's a whole lot of season. There's a whole lot of baseball that's going to happen between now and October. And as fans, I think we want to get back there because we tasted it. We saw what this team could be. We want to get back to super meaningful baseball. And I think the Brewers are like, no, we hear you, but we got to do it the right way. We learned from last year. We got to make sure that if we're going to give ourselves a shot, we got to take more risks in April and be more sure in October.
Is that part of baseball's problem, especially in a time like today when we wake up to frost? Did you have frost on your car this morning?
I did have frost on my car.
I
know. And that's going to be like 75 tomorrow.
By the way, shout out to everybody that's going through it. I mean, there were some tornadoes that ravaged the state of Wisconsin.
True.
Across the state on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, 1250 AM and 105.7 FM, The Fan in Milwaukee, 99.7 FM, WNFL, Green Bay and the Fox Valley, 710 The Game in Duluth, Superior. And our friends over in Wausau, man, they got absolutely wrecked in the town of Ringel. 93.9 The Game in Wausau, just outside of there. Major devastation. I was at the Bailey Zimmerman concert on Friday night and was getting blown up on my phone that it was like mass casualty type of event and just major devastation. So our T's and P's with everybody over there dealing with a life-changing event. Yeah. I know that there was something like 23 tornadoes in the state of Wisconsin in 1 or 2 days last week. That's how many we get in a given year.
Yeah, it was an anomaly. Right. But I think that to me was why I was like, yeah, frost is here. Okay, fine. Like, as long as it's not I have to hide in the basement or I'm losing power again, fine.
There's that.
Put
When
frost
did you get
on
your
the
power
car.
back?
We got it. We were without power for 30 hours. Yeah, that was a lot.
But you had a generator for the freezer, right? So you're
Yes.
good there?
Had a generator for the freezer. Shout out to Andy in Brookfield. Basement's okay. Yep.
You dodged one.
Yep, sure did. I know there were a lot of people that didn't. But, yeah, so you look at that. It's all about perspective, right? You look at that and you go, okay, frost ain't that bad. That'll be gone once the sun comes out.
Great, my windshield. No worries at all.
Thank you.
Big deal.
All good.
What were the worries from the weekend in Wisconsin sports? We'll recap the Wisconsin sports weekend that was in the good, the bad, and the ugly. When we get back, we want your feedback. 414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law talk and text line. What was good? What was bad? And what was just downright ugly? That's next on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. No first round pick for the Packers this year, but 2 picks on Friday, one in the second and one in the third as it stands today. Charlie and Sparky will break it all down for you. Friday night starting at 6 p.m. It's the Green Bay Football postgame show, NFL Draft Edition, here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Trevor and Josh inside Wisconsin Sports on what was the good, the bad, and the ugly from the weekend that was in Wisconsin sports. The bright spot, we've talked about it numerous times, Bryce Terang is absolutely raking it. No offense, Jake Bowers. Terang on the season, Josh, is batting .300.
Love that.
21 hits, 5 doubles, 1 triple, 4 home runs, 14 RBI, and we mentioned it before, a 19-game streak in every game he's played in this year. Of the 21 total for the Brewers, the 19 he's played in, he's gotten on base in every single game.
That's good. For if you're not sure, that's good.
That's good.
Thing.
That's why the good category in regard to Wisconsin sports is Bryce Terang filled. What else was good from the weekend, Josh?
I thought that there were a few matches in the WrestleMania that were good. Specifically, yesterday though, it was Sunday, and it was the ladder match, which I don't remember the last time if you had 5 or 6 guys in a ladder match that wasn't entertaining. But it was, and so that was good. I will give WrestleMania that. They still realize, hey, put a bunch of ladders in the ring. We can make some entertainment.
As if Owens didn't tell them anything in regard to neck injuries. Let's go ahead and throw guys off top ropes and land them on ladders outside the ring. Perfect.
Yeah.
Rusev is dead. Rusev died in the ladder match.
He did not.
He did not die, but boy, did it look like it. What about Cody Rhodes' entrance? Let's stick to WrestleMania here for a hot second. Obviously, the show open that Josh and I play at the top of every show, that's Cody Rhodes. I thought his entrance was a good spot from the weekend, just in what was a fun WrestleMania WWE weekend. I know there's some people listening right now that go, really, guys? Really? WWE?
It's their Super Bowl. It's their Super Bowl, man.
It's also mainstream. I mean, it was on ESPN. But what'd you think of his entrance? Did that fall in your good category?
It didn't. It was okay. It didn't super move the needle for me. I thought that the entrances in general were good. There's always more pomp and circumstance put into the entrances at WrestleMania. You see a lot of that. But I did think it was good.
All right, let's go to the bad.
There we go.
There you go. This is where you shine. Is that what you're saying?
I'm just saying there's a lot more bad.
Yeah, there was a lot of bad. All right, so what's top of your list for bad then?
The rest of WrestleMania.
Yeah.
All of Saturday, for the most part, I thought everything with Pat McAfee and Jelly Roll, and boy, was that a miss. Like, I'm done with that. And just the storylines for so much, and the amount of commercials that were in this thing now, and the commercials and the entrances were both way longer, got way more screen time than the actual matches. That's crazy. It can't be that lopsided. That was not good. That was bad.
I saw one report that said the match between Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes was something like 23 minutes. But that's a little bit BS, because we know that the whole thing, to your point, is pomp and circumstance. And so from the time that Pat McAfee came out and did all of the tomfoolery before the actual bell rung for the match, that's got to be included in the storyline, because it had a ton to do with it. My question for Pat McAfee is, why did you agree to do that? You have such an amazing thing going for you at ESPN. Your brand is well loved and respected. People love tuning in for the most part. To come out as a heel, I didn't understand the whole thing.
Oh, to me, it makes perfect sense. It's a tie-in between what he's already done for wrestling fans and how he's essentially one of the faces of ESPN. This is the first ESPN WrestleMania. They weren't selling tickets. They needed to move the needle more pre-WrestleMania for WrestleMania, and someone went, let's use McAfee. And that wasn't a good decision, but that was the decision. It was based on all of those factors.
Yeah, and I understood why. I just didn't think from a negative, news standpoint. McAfee signing up for all of that negative, flipping off fans and stuff. Career suicide, in my opinion. I think a lot of people are going to look at his show differently. That's all.
No, I don't think so. I think he'll be just fine.
Jacob in the van on the Nicolay Law Talk and text line 414-677-1250 says, every time I hear Seth Rollins and Randy Orton's themes, I think of it's time for I Have Questions and the Morning Mind Dump.
Perfect. Perfect. We're doing our job. Yeah.
There's a little bad Madison going on in case you're living under a rock. They don't have a chancellor. There's nobody running the UW system. And now Chris McIntosh, we know, is out at AD. The bad is, now what? As in, who makes these decisions? And who's the one that hires the AD? Is it the interim chancellor? And who do they have in the room? The interim AD? That is the GM of the football team that was connected to Chris McIntosh. There's a lot going on in Madison. Plus, the college basketball transfer portal, Josh, over the weekend made a lot of noise and some splashes. But at the end of the day, it was like, this is so hard to follow.
Yeah,
Just
it is.
talk to me in October.
Right. Well, and I feel like the reason why the Madison news is in the bad and not the ugly is because it's potential. It's in the bad because it's potentially ugly. Like it's teetering. It has the ability to move into the ugly real fast if they don't start getting things together, lining people up and getting positions filled to continue doing things. You see all these other schools that are established that made great runs, Michigan, Illinois, going after players more and more. And then you see the Badgers going, okay, they were the upset of the tournament, right? They were the 5-12 upset. There was not a bigger upset in the first round.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And they're now there without a chancellor or AD, while other schools are buying up everybody and primed and already working and ready to go. It just feels like coming off of that loss, Madison is already a step behind for next season, which is not a good thing.
It didn't also make me feel good, even though he wasn't bad, but it did make me feel good that there was a pitcher from UW Whitewater that pitched for the Marlins over the weekend and actually pitched pretty well. The crazy story about Lake, in case you missed it, Lake Batcher is a guy that pitched for the Marlins 2 1/3 innings over the weekend on Saturday against the Brewers for Miami, didn't allow any hits, walked 2, struck out 1. He pitched at UW Whitewater, but he was also the football kicker and punter and won the 2014 Division III National Championship with the University of Wisconsin Whitewater. I just don't like it when guys make impacts on sports teams here in Wisconsin that show up playing against Wisconsin sports teams. That's all.
Yeah, but I mean, come on. You're not feeling Wisconsin pride just knowing that someone else is.
All of it. Absolutely. I would love to have him on the Inside Wisconsin podcast. I just don't want him to do well against the Brewers. Is that asking too much?
Well, sure. Okay. It's one of those situations where you just say, hey, best of luck except for the few days you're playing against my team. That's not a bad thing. I think now that we're done with the Marlins, you can cheer for them.
Anything else bad from the weekend that really stood out? Back to WrestleMania for a hot second. I don't quite get the Brock Lesnar thing. Like, it seemed like he retired, but it was a surprise to everybody. He put up the X. I just think the WWE, per everything that we just talked about in regard to the help that they need, and Rhino disagreeing on the Nicolay Law Talking text line 414-677-1250, that was not career suicide for Pat McAfee. But what was that with Brock Lesnar? Because there's some people saying that he's not retired, but it sure looked like it. He's balling in the middle of the ring. Leaves his gloves, leaves his boots. Did you see Paul Heyman crying his eyes out?
Yep.
And my reason this was bad is because that probably deserved to be a bigger moment where, and I don't know if a lot of people caught it.
So I think that he probably, if that's the way that it went down, it was his decision to go down that way. I'm sure that the WWE would have wanted to build that up more. Why not? To have it be more of a surprise. I think that I could see Brock being like, listen, I'll do this. I'll put a guy over, I'll follow the old school rules of how you end your career, and then I'll be done. We don't need to make a big deal out of it. I think also it's important to look at just the big names that have retired in the last, year. You had Cena, you had AJ Styles, now Brock Lesnar. Like, some of these big ticket names are just hanging it up. There's tons of conversation about who's going to be next in there. Randy, how long is Cody going to go? Like, some of these guys are old. They're getting old, and they're being expected to do things. It was different when you had like old guys in the 80s because they weren't being asked to fly around as much. It was like they went out, they got punched and body slammed. It was like, oh my gosh. And then, you could do that at 55. Ask it a little bit more of these guys now.
I don't know how much you got to be paid to stick a razor in your forehead, but I'm not paid enough.
No, well, no, not even a little bit. But they do. They get paid enough.
They do.
Yeah.
That's wild. The blood.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
And it's every single time too now. It's like, all right, how do they hide those things? Where do they hide them? You ever read anything on that?
Oh, there's that's the behind the curtain stuff that gets revealed more and more now in every reality podcast, TV show about it. But sometimes it's in the tape and on the wrists. Sometimes it's like like there's a ref that's checking on them and it's there and then it's not there. You saw actually in the Punk Reigns match after he went through the announce table, he like pulled the ref in, said something to him, and then pushed him away. And so he went, something happened there. Someone's hurt. All right. And then the match was over a couple minutes later.
Too many camera angles for our own good.
Yep. It's true.
Is it also bad that they come out and admit that tickets aren't being sold? I wanted to ask you that too from last week that I didn't get the chance towards the end of the week.
I think that, like, instead of just ignoring it, I don't think that it was them initially saying it. I don't think the WWE came out and said, we're not selling enough tickets. I think it's just the more coverage you get, the more access via social media to this type of news, stories get told. There's screenshots being shared of all the empty seats still available on Ticketmaster. There, and then that's followed up with Pat McAfee coming out and saying 25% off. And that's them admitting, yeah, you're right. We're not moving tickets. And they moved it to Vegas because of the success the year before and wanting to bring it back. That didn't work.
Well, next year, no worries about that. It's on at noon because it's in Saudi Arabia.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't think that's going to be good either.
I would go over there right now if I was them.
I mean, of all the pay-per-views to sell out for your big one, imagine if someday the Super Bowl was in London or Germany. Can you imagine if it was like, yep, the biggest game in the National Football League is going to be played overseas?
Does that move it to Saturday? Because I actually might be okay with that.
Oh, wow. I did. No, I don't like that at all. You got to still keep your number one event at home.
414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law Talk and Text line. The Wisconsin sports weekend that was. The good, the bad. There's one ugly thing that I think is happening with the Brewers team that we'll share next. Along with yours, what's ugly in Wisconsin sports? 414-677-1250. The Nicolay Law Talk and Text line. We're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. It's Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
Did you know that any youth sports player can score a free small classic Frosty anytime they visit Wendy's in their sports uniform? That's right. Just stop by after practice or with your team after a game. Who doesn't love a Frosty?
Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh, recapping the weekend that was Wisconsin sports. We covered the good and the bad. Now, what's the ugly? And there's some. 414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law talk and text line. The 414 says Joey Ortiz and his homeless-looking beard, and they're ugly at both the plate and in real life. Josh, you asked the question over the break and said, how long is the leash on Joey Ortiz?
Yeah, I think more than any other player or situation with the Brewers going into the season, Joey Ortiz was number one of, all right, we got Jet Williams, we got a whole bag of prospects. How many of these guys are we just waiting, going, Joey, if that wasn't a sign, if you didn't understand the sign of us bringing those guys into the minors, they're waiting. They're salivating. They're waiting for you to make a mistake so we can call them up and replace you. And I'm wondering, are we happy enough with what Joey Ortiz is doing? How long is that leash? Are we expecting him to do X times better by the beginning of June, end of June? How important is this May for Joey Ortiz?
We talked for a while before the season with Tim Allen himself, and we get his take on that coming up next. He joins us at 8 a.m., the franchise. What do we want Joey Ortiz to hit in terms of batting average that would make us happy? And I believe, Josh, part of the conversation was 220, 230. Would we be happy with Joey Ortiz in that range? Right now, he's batting 196 after 51 at-bats and 0 home runs. He was not in the lineup yesterday. The starting shortstop was David Hamilton, who I believe booted one early in the game, if memory serves me right. And so if we're afraid to put him at the plate, which, by the way, pause, Jeff Levering told us at the beginning of the season that nobody in all of Major League Baseball batted more when the bases were loaded than Joey Ortiz last season.
30 times. Yeah.
Well, he's brought that back loud and clear in the start of this season already, and it's ending mostly the same way. So what is our biggest problem, though, with the ugliness of Joey Ortiz? Is it his lack of hitting and overall, or based on that stat that Jeff shared with us, is it the lack of clutchness?
Yes. The answer is yes. I think that opposing pitchers and teams, kind of the same way that back in the day when you knew you had the pitcher coming up, you could walk around a guy, you could strategize to know, well, and then we'll have the pitcher up, so that'll be an out, or they'll have to force a bunt down, like that'll be that position. If they see in the lineup, well, we can walk around this guy, load the bases to get to Ortiz to get out of this inning, that's a problem. It's a problem because it's putting Ortiz in a position where he needs to be clutch with the bases loaded, but also it's a problem because clearly other teams aren't fearing Joey Ortiz. They're saying, no, that's fine. Put him on. Let us go up against this guy. He doesn't have it. We'll get out of the inning. And then when they're being proven right, that's even more to the case of this not going in the right direction.
The 414 is having an ugly start to their week. 3 texts back-to-back. Says, 1, I kind of hope they move to the Super Bowl to London. It would make me unlike the NFL even more. Number 2, also, how much in Wisconsin taxpayer dollars are we paying players versus this whole profit that doesn't come back to the team? And then he says, also, hire back Budenholzer.
Okay.
Well, let's have a Monday.
Yeah. Well, hey, not the morning mind up anymore, but you got that out of your head, off your chest.
That's good.
Got that for you.
Hopefully you're better as you walk in and work at 8 a.m.
Yep, hopefully that helps. The 262 said, unfortunately, all the guys at the AAA level are hitting around 200 as well. So that's the other thing, right? Are some of these guys that bag of prospects, is there not someone that's really showing off there that's forcing their way up the same way as Joey Ortiz might be saying, I'm ready to go down?
Josh, is it ugly that we don't have, at least in my opinion, a standout leader on the Brewers right now? Christian Yelich is on the schneid. He doesn't count.
Terang's not that guy?
Is he?
I would say so. Yeah.
Contreras?
I think Contreras is there too. Yeah, but I think that Turang, like when you are a player like Turang and you're performing the way you are, that's got to be you would hope that some of that glow catches the rest of your teammates too. When you got a guy that has a hot hand.
Does leadership in sports look different today than it used to? That might be a good question we process a different day. I think it was very clear who the leaders were in sports in the past. But when I look at our teams in Wisconsin, it seems to be a shared title. And I don't know if that's good. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's good. I have a question. Maybe I have questions tomorrow. There, I feel better, says the 414. Thanks. That's why we're here.
Yep.
We got you.
There you go. Have a great Monday.
I'm having a good Monday, they say. Just texting it all in before I, get my day started. We understand. Here's the problem with Joey Ortiz, says the 414. In the last 10 games, it's been ugly. He's batting 120 in the last 10 games.
But to your point, and that's what I'm saying, what about if he's batting 120, but he's getting those RBIs? Like that clutchness part. Maybe he's going 1 for 8, but, or 2 for 12 in a series. But the 2 times he's getting those hits, he's bringing in 5 RBI. Then does that change everything? Like what are we really looking for? What's that goalpost for Joey Ortiz before we start getting our pitchforks out?
Does Hamilton's error make us take the lack of hitting by Joey Ortiz any better? Scotty Tiffany says on the Nicolay Law Talk and text line, which is 414-677-1250. Say what you want about Joey offensively, who admittedly we'd like to see at 220, but he wouldn't have had that Hamilton error at shortstop yesterday.
True. It's true, right? We've always relied on his defense. I think it's a balance. Like, even if you're the best defensive shortstop in the game, you still need to be able to swing the bat. Would you rather have 100% defense and 30% offense, or 90% defense and 60% offense? Right? Like, there just needs to be a little bit more. We're not asking for him to be a 270, 280 hitter. Would just give us a little bit more, man.
Maybe more than 120 over the last 10 games.
That wouldn't be the worst.
Somebody else in the 414 said, here's an ugly thing for you. Fix the damn roof at AmFam Field. Watching that game on TV, one of the last home games they had last week before the trip to Miami, there was water pouring out of the roof onto the warning track in center field.
Yep.
Pouring.
Yep.
Pun intended. How do they keep playing with that?
Like, how they not shut it down with that?
That is an unplayable in-play area.
I don't know. I mean, they did. So
I know, but you saw the video. There was a huge puddle, and it was absolutely it was buckets, like pouring buckets down in one spot in center field. Leave it to the Milwaukee Brewers to have to postpone a game due to rain with the roof.
That's happened before.
I know.
I think only one time where they had the roof open because it was supposed to be sunny skies, and then there's just one cloud right over American Family Field.
I was there.
Were you really?
I was actually there.
That's awesome.
Poured. They pulled the tarp. They closed the roof, and it was hotter than hot that day.
Yeah.
I mean hot. Humid, awful. Okay? There's only heat at AmFam Field. No air conditioning. So it pours. They shut the roof, and all of that water stayed in AmFam Field.
Yeah, nice little sauna for you.
Oh, my God, was it hot. So stupid hot. The Brewers, they were hot 4 games in a row. Can they continue now in Detroit and then back home in the coming weekend? We'll check in with the franchise next. Tim Allen joins us on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook.
It's time for your fan weather forecast, brought to you by the Milwaukee Area Napa Auto Care Association. Sunny now, partly cloudy conditions later today with a high of 49 degrees. It's currently 37 degrees here in Milwaukee.
I am an eternal optimist. So please, God, don't tell me that you're an eternal pessimist.
I like to say I'm a realist.
Oh, it's great. We're going to get along great. This is going to be great.
This is Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
Crowd is here, about to blow, waiting for me to start the show. Out the curtain, lights go up, I'm home. Whoa!
Mitchell, fly ball left field, slicing, it is down. Into the corner it goes. One run is in. Two runs are in. Rengifo stops at third. Garrett Mitchell delivers big time. Here he comes, and a swing and a miss. McGill strikes out Otto Lopez to end the game. He notches the save. The Brewers win a wild one in the opener of this series. And he swings at the first pitch here. It's a base hit. Coming around to score is Ortiz. Bryce Terang is at it again. He drives in a run with 2 outs. It's an RBI single, and he makes it 5-1 Brewers. Long pause, deals, runner goes, bouncing ball. Terang gobbles it up, throw to first in time, and the Brewers in the win column again. And a 5-2 victory here this afternoon in Miami. Sanchez with the bases loaded, and a bouncing ball through for a base hit. This is going to bring in 2. Terang goes to third, and El Gary comes through. And Perkins on the ground, right to second base. Edwards makes the play, and the Marlins win. Marlins salvage the final game of the series.
It's there. The Brewers tried to make a little bit of a comeback, but fell short. Nonetheless, another series win for the crew. Audio courtesy of Brewers TV. What's up, Wisconsin? Hour 3. Inside Wisconsin Sports. Trevor Thomas, Josh Albrecht.
Hi.
And joining us on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. The franchise himself, Tim Allen, who had a busy weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but also didn't exactly get a lot of rest leading into it, Thursday and Friday. Filling in for me.
Very true.
I appreciate it, Timmy. Thank you for doing so. So let's get caught up real quick. What is your take on the weekend that was? Another series win for the Brewers.
It is, and that's the main thing. All right, you have to rewind the clock. Good morning, fellas.
Morning.
Go back to spring training and what to expect out of this team, and then we get the news Jackson Churio down. Then we get the news Andrew Vaughn down. Fast forward a little bit, Christian Yelich down. Okay, if I told you that through all of that and a young pitching staff, that they would be 12-9 and they will have won 5 of their first 7 series, I think we'd all take it. I think so. Winning series is what it's all about. Now, are there some issues here? For sure. And we can talk about some of those issues, but the big picture, the macro view, 5 of 7 series thus far this season, they've won those series. So we have to take that into account. Again, every single win they get right now is a bonus in my book. Every single one until they get healthy and until the season starts to evolve. Every season has its surprises, both good and bad. And so you have, the unfortunate surprises of all those injuries, but then you have, whoa, wait a second here. Young pitching staff, yes, but look at Kyle Harrison. Look at Brandon Sproat, barring his first couple of outings. Now he's bounced back a little bit. Look at Brandon Woodruff.
Mm-hmm.
There's a huge surprise there for a lot of people. He was dynamite over the weekend. I mean, 7 full of 1-run ball. You can't. That was just a beautiful thing. And if you can get that out of Woody, so there's some good surprises in here along with the unfortunate ones. But at a 12-9 clip, here's some things that are going against the Brewers. And I always keep a little bit of a list going of some bad luck. You're not facing the Mets right now. The schedule, that's just a little, that's unfortunate because the Cubs get to feast on them over the weekend. And by the time you play the Mets, maybe they put things intact a little bit more.
Like the Sox.
Yeah. So exactly. So that's one that went against the Brewers a little bit. That schedule part of it. And when you look at Pat Murphy, unfortunately for him, what can you do? Your outfield yesterday, Trevor, Josh, your outfield yesterday was Greg Jones, Lockridge, and Luis Matos. Who would have thought that?
Bad.
In any configuration.
Right.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Right. So I have to say, though, Tim, and obviously we talked about this a little bit last week, but even the wins, it just feels like it's a little bit irritating. Like the team, like the way that the games are going, right? You had an opportunity. It's 5-1 on Saturday. And you're like, all right. And then you still have to bring, it goes 5-2. You need to bring a Uribe in. You go, oh my gosh.
Yep.
Like, can't we just, can we just go through a game without worry? And I understand that this is the tough part because of the injuries and everything else. And you just want to take the wins. But that doesn't change the fact that this level of Brewers baseball that has been since the first homestand has been a harder watch than not only do I want,
Right.
but I think what we were used to based on how the team did last season.
Yeah, I'll go you one further. It's a tough win. They even lose tough.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Look at yesterday. Can you just go away, have Carlos Rodriguez take it off the board, save the bullpen, chalk it up? You got the series victory. Go off in the distance of an 8-1 loss and get the hell out of town. Get up to Detroit.
Yep.
You got to make it more difficult by pecking away
Right.
there in the 8th inning, making it 5-3, and then the lead run was at the plate right there.
Yep.
And I got to say, as much as I like William Contreras, I still would have let Bowers bat in that situation yesterday. But here's the deal on the outfield that I mentioned just a couple of minutes ago. Okay, did you want Frelick and Mitchell out there? For sure we did. And I would now, solely because of the injuries right now. You can give them rest, and I get rest. You can give these guys some rest later on, but just for now, you're going to have to probably play your best hitters. Just for now. Okay, so what is Murph supposed to do? He doesn't have Yelich. He doesn't have Vaughn. He doesn't have Jackson Churio. He's got to get some rest for these guys. Occasionally. They're caught in the middle, guys. The organization right now, this is an interesting year. They're caught right in the middle. And what I mean by that is this group of blue chip higher end players, guys like Frelick and Terang, although Frelick's, off to a slow start, but let's not judge him on that. He's a good ball player. But this group of younger players, Jackson Churio and Bryce Terang and William Contreras and all these. Okay, so that's one group. Now look at the next group, and we all know it's going to be good. All of them, are they going to work out? No, but some are. The Jesus Medees and Luis Laras and Luis Peñas and Cooper Pratts and all these guys. They're caught in the middle. They're too young, and then these guys are doing it now and need some help. So what do you do? If you're Matt Arnold, what do? Do you try and meet these guys in the middle and do a broker or bridge the gap with a trade right now like you did Priester last year around this time? You went out and got Priester. Do they do that with a position player, or do they hold serve here? I'm thinking they're going to wait this thing out as long as they're winning series. But you see what I'm saying? Two groups, two blue collar sort of guys that potentially could be elite dudes in baseball, and boom, they're caught right in the middle. It's too early for this group, and this group needs some reinforcements.
Tim Allen joining us on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Yeah, it's catch 22. I guess if you're Matt Arnold, you start David Hamilton at shortstop. Like, uh-oh. And now it's catch 22 for other reasons. And many people on the Nicolay Law Talk and text line, that number 414-677-1250. There's many that are saying, yeah, I get it. Ortiz sucks at the plate, but does Hamilton at shortstop in the boot he had yesterday? Plus, he's not batting that much better at the plate. Right. So ultimately, you and I and Josh and so many others talked before the season started about what we need to see from Joey Ortiz at the plate. And over the last 10 games, we have seen literally nothing, batting 120. So the question, how long is his leash? Because that may force our hand with some of the younger guys in regards to being caught in the middle.
Well, and it's not just Joey. I mean, you take a look at these batting averages, guys. Just take a scroll down the batting averages. There's like 6 or 7 guys batting under 200.
Yeah.
Yeah, not good.
You can't have a group like that. So they're in that pickle right now. Now, in terms of Shohei Ohtani's, I do expect better hitting out of him. I do. Right now, you just better take the defense, because what's the alternative? Trevor, you just brought it up. Is Hamilton that much better with a bat in his hand? I don't think so. I think there's two things. One is Joey Ortiz is going to supply defense. And good defense. That kid, he's a Gold Glove caliber defense. We all know that. Now, he doesn't have one, but he's caliber of a Gold Glove. That's one thing. And the second thing is, we're truly going to find out what his future is in Milwaukee. And then I'll add in a third here a little bit. Clock is ticking. I know it takes time to judge a trade. So I'll give you an example. When the Brewers acquired Willy Adames, they sent Drew Rasmussen, hell of a pitcher, and JP Fireeisen for Willy Adames. What a great move. Now, I said at the time, well, hold off on this. Brewers didn't win this across the board. I like Drew Rasmussen when he was in a Brewers uniform. And now he's turned out to be a whale of a pitcher here. Not to say that the Brewers lost that trade, because I think they won. And here's how they won. The trade then took on its own life. Trevor Richards was a reliever in that deal that came with Willy Adames up to Milwaukee. They flipped Trevor Richards for Rowdy Tellez. So Rowdy then helped out with playoff appearances and things like that. So the trades do take time. And now back to the point. Joey Ortiz and DL Hall for Corbin Burns. I didn't like the deal at the time, but I made myself. I forced my face to smile. and I said, I'm going to wait this out. I didn't like it at first. I still don't like it, but I'm not going to pass judge. I'm not going to pound the gavel here quite yet. But it's Joey Ortiz and DL Hall. Look at the ceilings for these guys. What's the max of these guys? What DL Hall is on a collision course to be a journeyman reliever. That's what and hey, Jacob Barnes made a bunch of money bouncing around the league, had a couple of good years, one in Milwaukee, had one good season, really good season in New York. So that can happen for DL Hall. And what's Joey Ortiz's future? Now, full circle. What is Joey Ortiz the shortstop for the next 2 to 4 years? I'm going to say the odds are against that.
Yes.
But for now, he supplies defense that is just really, really good. And without offense right now, guys, for the Brewers, just right now, I think you have to play Joey O every day.
Okay. So, Timmy, I hate looking at this, but I keep comparing this team to last year's team, what they've gone through. And I know that it's different timing, right? Started terrible and then got better last year. Started great, got worse this year. But you're in sort of the same situations from the 25 Brewers to the 26 Brewers. However, the rest of the Central isn't that way. Your 12-9 Brewers tied for last place in the NL Central. Other teams are figuring out. Other teams are taking advantage of opportunities, as you pointed out, playing the Mets, things of that nature. Does that move that timeline up? Does that make that leash a little bit shorter, knowing, hey, yeah, we're just trying to get better, healthier, and win games along the way, but we have a little cushion because the rest of the Central wasn't as good last year in comparison to this year, to where, okay, we're trying to do that same thing, but also now we're in last place. These other teams are still, it's way more competitive early on.
I get what you're saying. Central is pretty decent, it looks like. Now, is Pittsburgh going to maintain like that? I don't know. I doubt it.
I mean, the Reds in first right now.
I like the Reds. And the best decision they made in the last 10 years is signing Francona. The Reds are something to reckon with here. Are the Cardinals going to hang in there like that? I doubt it. I doubt it. The Cubs are going to start crawling up the charts here, guys. They're a good ball club. And I hate saying it, but they're good. I hear what you're saying. So does that make Matt Arnold then, Josh? Does that have him tap the accelerator a little bit more?
That's what I'm saying. I feel like it might, knowing you don't have as much cushion to give yourself space to figure this out. You have to go because the rest of your competition is already going.
They are going, and that's why these wins, every single one right now, they can get. I mean, imagine this roster once you insert Vaughn, Jackson, Churio, and Yelich back in it. It puts role players back in their spots. And when you're not good enough to be a role player, it puts you back in your spot in the minors. I mean, how long has it been since we've seen sightings of a Blake Perkins start? He barely gets into the games. Why on earth, once Yelich went down, why they didn't bring up Jefferson Caro is beyond belief. They weren't playing Blake Perkins anyway. They were playing Greg Jones over Blake Perkins. They were playing Matos over Blake Perkins. And I'm a Blake Perkins guy. I do like him. But again, now Lockridge, put him back in his spot too. Not that he's doing bad. Put him back in his spot as the fourth outfielder. Now you're in good shape. You can get your outfield back intact. I don't think anyone's going to complain about Garrett Mitchell yet. He's been dynamite so far. I mean, is he, a superstar? No, but he's pretty good. I think he's above what people expected. There might be some that say, hey, he's a tools guy and he's really underrated. Mitchell's been doing the job. So Mitchell, Frelick, and Churio in the outfield, put Yelich back at DH, put Vaughn back at first base, and put Bowers back in his spot where he can DH, or he can play a little outfield, give a guy a break, or he can platoon at first. It puts these guys back into their spots. That you're just buying time now. That's what you have to do. Buy time. 12-9, 5 of 7 series. I'm going to take that, all things considered. And the pitching staff, look at the last time through, guys. Look what Sproat did. Look what Patrick did. Look what Woodruff did. Look what Kyle Harris.
Just don't look at what the bullpen did.
Now the bullpen's got to clean it up. I'm confident the bullpen's going to be fine. They just went through it a little bit. They're starting to put things back in order out there.
So the one last thing I'll say about this, Timmy, that I'm curious if this plays a role, as we've had a lot of people interacting with us today on the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and text line, bringing up that Matt Arnold might be a little bit tied up, not being able to move to those prospects that he said he'd go to if things got ugly in the majors, because they're also not hitting well. And seeing the numbers of, Pratt and those guys down there, do you think that is playing a key role in why a decision hasn't been made, or do you think it's still too early?
Yeah, I think for most of them it's too early. Now, okay. I would roll a chip to the center of the table on one of them. We have to remember the Brewers have to play that game as an organization, and that's team control game. And you got to wait. Now, Cooper Pratt, doesn't matter. You've got team control. It doesn't matter. You're paying him. So you can bring him up when you want. The clock is ticking now when you think about it. But a guy, Jesus Madej, do you want to go early without a big extended contracts? We see McGonigal signed one over the weekend. These younger players are doing a Jackson Churio deal all around the league. Do you want to do that with Madej? He had another big day yesterday. At some point, yes. But at that point, is that when you bring him up? Now, I would like to see him roll one chip in, and that's not Madej. That's Luis Lara. Just start the clock on one of them, Matt. It doesn't mean all of them. It just means one of them with regards to service time starts now. Or do you want to wait it out till June 1st, roughly, or late May, where it doesn't count as a full year of service time? I don't know. You could try one. Luis Lara at, what is he, 21, 20? He's a better baseball player in the big leagues. Now, this isn't saying much. And I don't want to hate on the guy. But he's a better baseball player, in my opinion, once you bring him to the big leagues than Greg Jones is.
Yeah.
So do you just – I'm not asking you to use up a year of service time by bringing three of these guys up. Just one of them. Just try it. Just one of them. Luis Lara. Let's do it.
Let's end this thing on a positive note, shall we, Timmy? Two words. Coleman Crow.
Oh, man. See, and that flew under the radar.
Totally.
We've been trying to, the last couple of years, for me at least, the show has been trying to keep that guy on the radar. Hey, don't forget about Coleman Crow. They gave up Tyrone Taylor and Adrian Hauser for him. But at that time, a couple of years ago, I was looking at sort of the deeper dive metrics for Crow. That dude's good. That dude is good. And I kept reminding people, hey, let's hold off. You're going to get this Crow dude. Who? Yeah, Coleman Crow. And he was outstanding. He is one of those guys. I don't know who he reminds me of, because he's not going to overpower you, but he's got just really good movement, great command. You would like to see him pass a little of that command over to Miz. But yeah, Coleman Crow, outstanding. And then we'll go to the other side, Trevor, real quick. Jacob Mizorowski, as erratic as that outing can look, that dude is, if he harnesses even a little bit more command, just give me a little bit more command from Mizorowski. Guys, he is one of the best pitchers in all of baseball. Think about that. The surface numbers say it, and the deeper dive numbers say it. The Brewers have a big time pitcher in Mizorowski. It is. Could you imagine this dude in 1 to 3 years? Ooh.
Yeah. Next time he's blown up in the first inning like that, just text me, would you, and remind me that he's one of the best pitchers in baseball, because I could really use the support in a moment like that.
At the end of the day, though, 5 innings, 1 earned run, and the Hamilton error just sort of bogged things down. Did you see the little talking to he got on the mound?
Yep.
Yeah, when Dad came out there in the first inning, it wasn't Uncle.
No.
It was Dad.
No. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. All right. So are you, Tim Allen. The franchise. Right. Timmy, thanks for sitting in the chair while I was out last week. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you got it. Anytime, guys. Have a good Monday.
Thanks,
Talk to you soon, Tim. Tim Allen on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. I heard Tim say to you last week that he reads 90 minutes a day.
Yep.
That is so awesome.
Do you read 90 minutes a week?
I read way more per day than I think you would think I do.
Yeah,
probably
like sports or like articles or just like
news, weather, sports. It's a current event style reading. I can't read books and remember what I read the page before.
Yeah, same.
But when it comes to current events, I'm pretty in tune with the majority of the stuff going on, and I find that from reading. I try really hard not to death scroll. I've done it, and I still do it.
Yeah,
but I try hard not to. I'm going to death scroll who the Packers need for the NFL draft, though, because this one's a little pickling. That's the question to you. What is the biggest hole that the Packers need to fill this week in the draft? And is it fillable? Meaning, can we find the players from the second round on that will be able to make an impact and actually fill some of the void on the Packers roster? Our question to you on the Nicolay Law talk and text line, 414-677-1250. What is the Packers' biggest need heading into the NFL draft this week? We're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. It's Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Well, we know Packers don't have a first-round pick this week. No pick on Thursday. With a little asterisk that says you never know. But let's be real, no pick on Thursday. But they do have 2 picks on Friday. 1 in the 2nd, 1 in the 3rd. And therefore, Sparky and Charlie will break it down for you. Friday night, 6 p.m., the Green Bay Football Postgame Show, NFL Draft Edition, here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Inside Wisconsin Sports, Trevor and Josh asking you, in regard to the draft this week for the Green Bay Packers, what is the biggest hole that needs to be filled? The 920 quickly, 414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law talk and text line. Almost right away goes, oh, yeah, the draft is this week. I'll be damned.
Oh, that's right.
No first-round pick, and the draft isn't in Green Bay, but this person believes cornerback is the biggest void. Josh, what's your void that they need to fill?
Yeah, that's definitely up there. I feel like they've got a lot of spots where they need one. I want to see them get a big boy on a lineman, O-line, D-line. I just want that first.
Pick a side, though. Which one do you think is the biggest one? I don't know.
I guess O-line.
So that's what a lot of people are saying. That offensive line is where the biggest hole is. But my question is where? Jordan Morgan, in terms of the ones right now, is at left tackle. Jordan Morgan almost beat Rasheed Walker out for the starting position at the beginning of last year. There was a moment in camp where there were people on the sidelines going, I think Jordan Morgan just won the job. Now, he didn't, and Rasheed Walker's no longer here. So, hey, turns out it's yours now. But what else? Aaron Banks didn't have a great season, but I believe he reworked his deal. So he's a tolerable one that we believe just needed to get his feet wet in the offense. We should be able to rely on him more than we have in the past. Sean Ryan moved to center when Elton Jenkins went down, and we thought played really well at that position toward the end of the year. Anthony Belton was a rookie in 2025. He comes in as a second-round pick and looks to be somebody we can count on at right guard. And if Zach Tom is healthy, the right tackle position is as sound as any of the others on the offensive line. So you're right, Josh. Everybody says offensive line, myself and yourself included, but why?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just, I think that it's just, there's that impact piece. I think we didn't see as much of a, the offensive line is everything. It's protection. It's what starts the run game. And I think when we just looked at those two areas and we went, yeah, they need a piece. And that's why I said, I just want a big guy. Like, all right, fine, go defensive. That's fine. I still want a piece to be on the opposite side of, or be able to bring that pressure with Micah Parsons, or to start the season. I know it's a rookie, so they probably wouldn't be, but just to have another body in there when Parsons isn't in there, there are enough places to put a guy. And from everything I've seen, it's not like this is a super elite draft either. So that's why I think it might just be take a chance on bodies and fill the holes.
The Packers draft and develop. Nothing to worry about there.
Sure, of course not.
Totally good.
No.
I think the reason we want bodies is because of all the injuries last year.
Of course.
There were so many that showed that the depth just wasn't there. And then remember, the case of the defensive line, wasn't it Jordan Riley that they brought in? Big old mamma jamma.
Yep.
Injured. Done.
Yep. Like not the first play, but maybe like the third play.
Pretty much.
Something ridiculous.
Right. Yep. So we get him back. We obviously get Devontae Wyatt back. In time, we get Micah Parsons back. And maybe this is part of the argument, Josh, why so many people, even though just over 26% of the Packers roster is turning over from last season moving forward, at minimum, not knowing who gets cut, who gets signed, who gets drafted, what all of it looks like when it shakes out. But as it stands right now, 26% of the roster from last year, we know in this moment isn't coming back. So they're not running it back, but I think they need depth. And so why guys like you and I would go, can we just get big people? It's because we noticed that when the big people went down last year, so too did we.
Right. It was the impact, not just the position. It was the impact. And it was that the depth there got to a point in which we joked, okay, you and I might need to suit up because our practice squad guys are coming in and getting injured. And that's just that's a problem. For a team. I don't care how good your team looked on paper to start the season. If you're relying on third and fourth stringers by week 10, you're going to be in trouble. So that's the outlook. That's what I'm trying to remember as we get into the draft. Was that feeling?
Do you think we draft a quarterback?
Like at any point in the draft?
I mean, do we use one of the few picks that we have? We have 2 on Friday. We have the rest on Saturday. We have a 1 pick in the second, 1 in the third, 1 in the fourth. Now we're on Saturday already. 2 in the fifth, 1 in the sixth, 2 in the seventh. So do we waste a mere, what do we have? 7? 8? Do we waste one on a quarterback right now based on the depth needs?
I would not be surprised, just because we've learned how important it is, especially post Brett Favre, but just specifically with Jordan Love, to have a good backup quarterback. I'm not expecting the next Malik Willis to be the guy behind Jordan Love, but I think showing what Malik did and how many games he still won for this team, just imagine Malik Willis's time here. If Malik Willis was a Brett Hundley and like those games were all just losses, like I don't think we appreciate keeping the Packers in it all season with wins with Jordan Love out, how important that was. And I don't think the Packers overlooked that either. So because of that, I wouldn't be surprised if there was a name called. It better not be early. I better not see a quarterback called on the second, third, even fifth round. Maybe the 6th or 7th.
But Andy did tell us that because of the lack of depth in this year's NFL draft, it's going to become quickly the best player available.
Yeah, not a quarterback.
No matter what.
Yeah, the bodies we need there are way too many other positions to be focusing a lot on who that backup quarterback is. Who's your starting cornerback first before you worry about your backup quarterback?
Jonah from River Falls says we need offensive linemen that have impeccable records of being healthy. Almost everyone on the O-line was banged up at some point during the season last year. Truth. So that means that we got to go and get somebody in trade or free agency yet versus maybe getting somebody in the draft that shows they can stay healthy in college. Probably played 3 or 4 different colleges, but I digress. The other hard part about the draft that lots of people are talking about is the idea, and Goody talked about this from the NFL meetings, I believe, in Phoenix, that these guys that are being drafted are coming in with a lot of business knowledge, not so much knowledge in terms of loyalty to programs and building teammates and so on, but a lot of business knowledge. So do we think that the idea of getting a major impact player for the right dollar amount early in the draft to come in and actually be somebody this year is greater because of that? Or does it hurt us even more? Because some of these guys are staying in college now.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I still don't think it hurts you that much in regards to the college aspect. I think it's a little bit different, but it is it's a unique situation. The Packers are in a unique situation this year where you look at who they have, and just like last year, you went, oh my gosh, okay, this team on paper, they should make some noise. But then you take a step back and you go, to everyone's point on the Nicolay Law Fan Talking Text on what we all saw last year, that can fall apart quickly. And you need to be able to have other guys that step up. And they got to be smart. Goody's got to be really smart in this draft.
The 920 on the Nicolay Law Talking text line, 414-677-1250. Not only are we losing a lot of defensive players, but now we're switching defensive schemes from a 4-3 to a 3-4, and we have a new D coordinator. Defense, to me, is a big question mark. Load up on the D side of the ball.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Hey, did I miss the press conference?
Nope, but boy, do they have a nice, shiny new room that we're going to get to see him talk in at some point, maybe soon? Question mark. And by the way, right. Did it come out and did it get reported that we're officially changing schemes? Because the one article that I did read about Gannon and the idea of what he looks at from a scheme standpoint said, and I quote, I don't really believe in schemes.
Right. I'd love to have more questions asked to the Packers D coordinator. Love for there to be a time when reporters could get in front of him, just introduce themselves to him. Maybe something before we go and draft players for the guy. Just say hi. Basic stuff.
Super interesting.
Killing me, Pack.
414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law talk and text line. When we come back, we'll cross over with our friends, plural, from 9 to noon with John Kuhn, because it's John Kuhn.
Yep.
And Josh Albright
and yours
for
truly.
the next 3 hours. Let's
That's right.
go.
That's right.
You gonna catch a nap at the top of the hour, or are we just flying?
Oh, I'm gonna turn Kuhn's mic on and then snooze from 9 to 9:30. You got it, Johnny. Go ahead.
414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law talking text line. What's the Packers' biggest void on the roster right now that we hope they can get in the draft? We'll ask John next when we cross over with 9 to noon with Kuhn. We're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. It's Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
You know, mornings can all start to feel the same, so if you're looking for a fresh wake-up call, look no further than Wendy's Breakfast. Try a breakfast Baconator with fresh cracked eggs and crispy bacon, a grilled sausage or bacon breakfast burrito, or maybe even a honey buddy. And don't even think about sleeping on Wendy's seasoned potatoes. Doesn't matter what you go for, it's going to change your life or at least freshen up your morning. If you're ready for a fresh wake-up call, it's got to be Wendy's.
Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh, welcoming in John Kuhn from 9 to noon with John Kuhn and Josh Albrecht today.
That's
no
right.
Rami, no Brandon, just Kuhn and Josh.
How about
from
them
9 to
apples,
noon
huh?
today?
Now, I got to
Do
say,
you like apples?
420 today, 420, and John, two of the three of you are out. Any coincidence there? Any coincidence of the day and those guys both needing off today?
You know, I haven't really thought of that since we moved over to this station. I never really thought about those numbers in those terms. Now, things to make you go, right, Josh Albrecht? Quite possibly. After last, I thought 414. I thought 414 day was the big one, right? I thought that's the one we all celebrate around here. Seems like there's another day in April.
Yeah, there might be.
Something.
I'm just saying. It seemed like Rami specifically was like, hey, I just looked at the calendar. I'm going to need off on Monday.
Right? Didn't it feel like that? It was like, Brandon, I know what Brandon's doing. He's had this scheduled off for quite some time, and that's what you get, right? Jobs, you have time off. But Rami was that was a late entry to the game time decision thing here. He was just not in.
It's true.
John, Josh, and I were just talking about the biggest void on the Packers roster that they need to or potentially could fill in the NFL draft. Many people are saying offensive line, but that's more depth because there's pretty clearly a starting five on that side of the football. Others are saying defensive line. Adam Schefter tweeted this morning that the Packers exclusive rights free agent wide receiver, Bo Melton, also signed his tender today. Yet he's also a cornerback where it appears the Packers are pretty light. So is that the void?
Well, I mean, okay, what's light, right? I mean, Keyshawn Nixon and Carrington Valentine were doing fine. I mean, the Packers were 9-3-1 before the exit of Micah Parsons in Denver, and they struggled. They got beat on some tough coverages late in the season, specifically against the Chicago Bears twice, and that kind of sticks in the craw of Packer fans. But when you talk about guys who have experience and have done it, and you would expect to take a jump. I mean, Keyshawn Nixon halfway through the season was leading the league in pass breakup. So I don't think we're as deficient at quarterback as people think we are. Although an upgrade, absolutely. Competition, absolutely. They already brought in Benjamin St-Juste, so absolutely. Where I'm really concerned is guys that have not played a lot. Right? Guys that have not played a lot. And we're talking defensive line right now. Like Lucas Van Ness has missed a ton of time last year with injury. He's going to be counted on immediately at the start of this season. I know we brought in Javon Hargrave to beef up the interior of that defensive line, but what is the shape of Devontae Wyatt when he comes back? When does Micah Parsons come back? A Barron Sorrell, a Colin Oliver, a Brenton Cox. These are all very young guys that have a little bit of experience, but I'm talking 65, 70% payloads here in these games. I think defensive line quite possibly might be the spot that has the most question marks going into the season. Not saying these guys aren't capable because we just don't know. We haven't seen it enough. But as far as question marks go, defensive line for sure, in my opinion. Now, the offensive line is really interesting here, Trevor, because you mentioned it when you say it's just for depth. Well, why is it just for depth? I mean, if we got some sort of David Bakhtiari in a draft, or Josh Sitton in a draft, or TJ Lang in a draft, and remember they were all 4th, 5th, rounders
late
when they were brought in. So if we got a guy like that, could he find his way into the starting lineup at some point in time in a season? You look at this line, and based off of what Goody has invested in it, you would say those are the 5 starters day one. 1st round draft pick from 2 years ago at left tackle, a 2nd round draft pick from last year at right guard. Then you got 3 years, $33 million at center. You got Zach Tom's big contract at right tackle, and Aaron Banks was the big $65 million free agent brought in last year at left guard. But I would say you could look at any single one of those guys and say, well, Sean Ryan to me is the one that's most solidified Everybody else kind of has a question mark, even Zach Tom coming back from his injury.
Yeah, there was a lot of talk about Jordan Morgan last year, too, and how he almost beat out Rasheed Walker to have the job last year, let alone keeping it this year.
But I think you look at it and say he almost beat out Rasheed Walker.
Yeah,
and Rasheed Walker was a guy who I liked as a 7th-round draft pick. I think he's a journeyman who worked his tail off, who was asked to play a very, very tough spot on that left side. Sometimes got help, sometimes didn't. And I thought, for all intents and purposes, he did a solid job as a 7th-round pick for the Packers in his time that he was here. But Jordan Morgan couldn't beat him out last year. Didn't beat him out last year. Is he going to take that step up today or this year? Today.
Lots more to come.
Today. I'd actually like him to step up today.
Yeah, agree.
When they show up.
9 to noon with John Kuhn and Josh Albrecht coming up next on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Those studios powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Our thanks, as always, on a Monday morning at 8 a.m. The franchise Tim Allen joins us and breaks it down, frankly, Josh, like you and I just can't.
Yeah. Yep. He's the best. He's the best, man. He provides those details and that emotion. And I love, too, he just got done talking to all of our listeners on the postgame show. Love Timmy.
Yeah, as if you didn't get enough of him, by the way.
Can't.
He's off today, but then right back at it tomorrow when the Brewers return to the field in Detroit. 9 to noon, John Kuhn, Josh Albrecht coming up next on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Also, our thanks to all of you. On a Monday, it's tough, guys, especially when there's not a lot of Wisconsin sports other than Brewers to talk about, but you never miss on the Nicolay Law Talk and Text line. We appreciate it. We're inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. See you tomorrow.
Because we're not done yet.